That's great.
Cool. We're going to take just a second to regroup before we continue. From here, we get a pretty good overview of the area. I know most of you are from the general vicinity, but just to give you a bit of background about Idaho Springs, this is right where the gold rush started. It happened back in 1859, right at the confluence of Clear Creek and Chicago Creek. Chicago Creek actually runs right down here. I think Clear Creek is right there, that larger body of water that we can actually see. And back in the day, back in 1859, the confluence was actually out by where the ball field is now. So they moved the creek bed when they put in the interstate there in the 1960s. They also destroyed half of Idaho Springs. It used to be a lot bigger than it is today. It's about 4 blocks wide and 3 miles long. But at one point in time, as Greg was saying on the way up, there were like 50 to 100,000 people scattered in between here and Blackhawk and Central City, which is just over that hill. And that was really, you know, what defined Colorado as it is today, how it exists as the economic power of the West and stuff. It never would have happened that way if it was not for all the gold that came out of this area right here. And we can see evidence of that all over the place. Like anywhere that you see like a pile of yellow dirt with nothing growing on it, there was a gold mine. If you go flying around here, these hills really do look like Swiss cheese. If you look straight up that way, you'll see the Phoenix gold mine. That was one of the biggest mines in the area. Like millions and millions and millions of dollars came out of that mine. I think it was actually active up until the 1950s even. If you come back with us, you know, sometime early next summer, late next spring when we still have rafting, you come do our intermediate trip. One of the coolest rapids on that trip is actually formed by the gold mine up there. It's called the Phoenix Rapid, named after the mine itself. So come back and check us out then. But from here you can see all the way up the valley towards Mount Evans. If you continue on up there, I think the road's actually closed about 14 miles from here today for maintenance or something, but it is the highest paved road in North America. It goes up to over 14,000 feet, which is kind of neat. And up that way we can see the Continental Divide. We're looking at Jones Pass. If anybody's into snowmobiling or something like that, you may have been up there in the winter time. We can kind of see the south end or the north end of Berthoud Pass, and then the south end of Berthoud Pass and the north end of Loveland Pass as well. But as far as the divide goes, you guys all know what the Continental Divide does. If you don't, it's okay, because I'm about to tell you. There's an invisible line that starts all the way up in northern Canada, snakes its way through the Canadian Rockies, all the way through Montana, Wyoming, right through there. And it continues on south towards New Mexico and Central America. And for all those thousands of miles, water flows east or it flows west. So everything on this side is going out towards the Gulf of Mexico, and everything on the west side eventually ends up in California. Yeah. Right on. Watch your step on the trail here. We hate to have you fall before